You unlock this door with the key of imagination. You just crossed over into the Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone is definitely my favorite pinball machine in the collection. And if you're not familiar with Twilight Zone was a series that debuted in the United States back in the 1950s, and it was a black and white series, directed and narrated by Rod Serling, who's here on the back glass. And the series was about many different topics, but the stories were always shrouded in mystery, and they always had a strange, ironic twist at the end of them. And they're really, really iconic. Even now, some 50, 60 years later, people still really love the old black and white Twilight Zone episodes. And if you've never seen them, I really recommend you go check them out and discover them, because they're fantastic. There's a lot of imagery on the machine, on the playfield, as well on the back glass, that all center around the episodes in the series. And I think the series went on for 3 or 4 seasons, maybe 5 seasons. And they've tried to reboot it a couple times as well. But for me, the original black and whites are really the best. That this is Rod Serling here, obviously, he's on the back glass. And this is Burgess Meredith. He's in one of the first episodes where he loves to read, and he's in a bank vault during a nuclear war. And he's kind of like the last man standing on Earth when it's over. This is from the episode The Hitchhiker. There's a lot going on the playfield, and the slot machine here is from an episode called The Fever. And where do I even start with this machine? So when I discovered pinball, and I knew that there was a Twilight Zone, I knew I wanted one, but they always seemed a little bit out of reach. I did find this machine. I bought this from a fellow collector in the Netherlands, up near Amsterdam. And this is like April of 2019 I bought this machine. And he had a really nice collection, maybe 7-8 machines, and he was selling some to fund some new purchases that he was making in pinball. He was buying some new machines. And he had this pinball machine in his collection for about 20 years. And from what he told me, he had it for 20 years. It's not drilled for lock bars or anything, but I think it was operated on location. There's 20 francs here. This is either Belgian francs or French francs, maybe. So the machine was probably operated at some point. Maybe there used to be a sticker here for wear. But the artwork is in really good shape. It's a little bit faded. There's a little bit of color fade to the artwork. But overall, the machine is in fantastic shape. And when I bought it from him, he had done a couple things. First of all, if you don't understand about this machine, this was manufactured by Williams, right? And this is 1993. This was made right after the Addams Family. The design team that put the Addams Family together, they really knocked that out of the park with that game. And I think they sold over 20,000 of those machines. So Williams kind of gave Pat Lawler and his design team free range to come up with Twilight Zone and what they were going to do with this machine. And from what I understand, they might not have made a whole lot of money on the machine because they put so much on the playfield. I mean, there's just so many mechanisms, and there's a clock on the playfield that interacts with you when you play the game. It actually moves. It's supposed to be displaying the correct time, but I have had a couple issues with the clock. It's got an upper playfield here that has magnets that operate as flippers, which is really cool. It's got an operating gumball machine in the back. It's got diverters here. It's got ramps under the playfield, and the ball will disappear and come out in a totally different area. It's really a slick machine. It is a wide body machine. You see, it's wider than a standard pinball machine. It has the trademark Pat Lawler shot right through the pop bumpers that all of his machines have, or at least a lot of them do. But yeah, so the guy I bought it from, again, he had done a couple things. He installed this this slot machine here, and this one is cool because as the ball goes through, the actual reels on the slot machine will spin. He also installed this Robbie the Robot here, which is pretty neat. And he installed this piano modification that puts this plastic piano here on top of the scoop here that goes into under the piano. What else? And then since I've gotten the game, I've also added a couple things. I actually built this from a model car that I bought on eBay, and I took apart an LED that I would normally use, like here in an insert or something like that. And I took the individual surface mount diode LEDs off the little circuit board, and I soldered it all together, and I made my own little Thunderbird here. And this Thunderbird is in a couple different episodes. One of them, and you can also see the car here on the playfield, and that's kind of where it comes from. One of the episodes has William Shatner in it. Him and his girlfriend are in this car, and they break down in this little town, and they go to this little diner, and this fortune-telling machine starts predicting their future, and it really freaks them out, and it's a really cool episode too. Definitely recommend that one. So yeah, I built this car, made that, and I've done a couple other mods. I've added some ultraviolet LEDs to the scoop. I've added this this spiral graphic to the back of the playfield, and then I added some ultraviolet lights under here, to illuminate that. And what else? And then I've LED'd the machine, and LED'd the back glass as well. The translate. Now the translate on Twilight Zone is really great. It has a lot of imagery again from the series, and of course a lot of the episodes were centered around space travel, so that's very prominent. You just have to watch the series and the episodes, and everything on here, virtually everything. I don't think the gumball machine was actually in any of the episodes, but mostly everything else was there in the series. And behind Rod Serling, I put color changer LEDs here. These are all color changers that'll cycle through, and these are all blue. And then everything else is sunlight white to give a nice, even color balance there. So the clock here, you see the clock here on the translite, and the clock on the back glass. So this clock is kind of notorious. The clock will it'll actually run in certain modes of the game, and let's say it starts at like 3 o'clock, and it'll roll backwards to midnight, and then you're trying to complete a mode before midnight, before it gets back to midnight. And then normally the clock will go, and it'll obviously actually display the current time, but I am having some issues with the clock, and there is a replacement board you can get for this clock, and that's probably that's on my list. I'm going to save up for that and replace that clock board. So I forgot to mention one thing about Twilight Zone is Twilight Zone is a 6-ball game. It has 6 balls installed. It has 5 standard pinballs, and then it has 1 porcelain ball. Before I raise the playfield, I like to take the balls out of the game, especially because I'm going to flip the playfield all the way up. And in Twilight Zone, the way you do that is you actually have to go through the menus, and I'm going to first empty the gumballs out of the gumball machine here. And you're going to see these gumballs come firing up. There's the porcelain ball, that's the Powerball. And you can see the gumball machine back there dispensing the balls. Okay, so the gumball machine is empty. And then you see here the porcelain ball. Now this is called the Powerball. And the Powerball is probably twice as fast as a regular pinball, maybe a little bit. It's super cool because it's there's a lot of magnets on the playfield here. Well, not a lot. There's 2 magnets up here, and then there's the magnets on the upper playfield. But this Powerball is not affected by those magnets. So if the Powerball comes out and it goes around this lane here in the back, it's not affected when the magnet's activated. So anyway, that's those 3, and we'll empty the balls out of the trough, and then we'll flip the playfield up. All right, so after the balls are pulled out, then you can raise the playfield. And the playfield on Twilight Zone is a little bit different design. You raise it up about a foot, you pull it out, pull it out. Now the clock decides to work. Maybe there's a loose connection there, because as I pulled that playfield out, now the clock moves. And then from there, after it's locked, then you're going to pivot it up from there. And it's a pretty cool design. I like it. Complicated machine, a lot going on. There's a couple different subways on the machine, as you see here. So there's the one in the back here that goes to the gumball machine. And this is when you're shooting like around the back of the machine, around the loop that goes behind all the ramps. There's a diverter here. This diverter can actually send the ball down into this subway trough, and then this popper here will actually send it up where it goes up into the gumball machine. When it dispenses out of the gumball machine, then actually what it does is it comes here, goes down this subway to here, and then this popper here will send it up to the main playing field. This is the piano right here, so if you go under the piano, it goes into the subway trough over here and makes its way to the same place, and the popper will send it up. There's also a way to go under the playfield back here, and this is underneath the mini playfield. You can shoot it under the mini playfield. I think it's called the camera shot, and it'll come here and make its way back. So pretty much all the subways, except for the one in the back for the gumball machine, they all enter at this kick out here, which is where the slot machine is. And then here on the right hand side, you do have another subway, and this is actually your skill shot. It's actually where you actually shoot the ball in the shooter lane. There's a skill shot, and if you go too hard, then the ball will actually go into this subway trough. So I'll show you that when we get the playfield back down again. Overall, clean game, very, very clean. Here's the coin box. There's some marks here, so this thing probably was operated at some point. I made a topper for this machine to go on top of the back box, but the ceiling in this house here that I'm living at in Germany, the ceiling is too low for me to put the topper on there. But I'll show you what that topper looks like. Yeah, you can see it's just built out of wood, and it's got a screen here from an old netbook computer that we weren't using anymore. And if I remember correctly, it runs on 12 volts, and the netbook computer monitor had a 5 volt output on the board that I found. And so I soldered a header on there that powers the Raspberry Pi. So the Raspberry Pi is actually powered off of the monitor to get the 5 volts. But yeah, that's what that is, and that normally would go on the machine. So anyway, that's the underplay field of the Twilight Zone. You do also have these magnets here. There's a magnet here on the left side, another magnet here on the right. And there's actually space here for a third magnet. There was a prototype version of this game that had 3 magnets. And I read it's because they were concerned that the magnet here wouldn't be powerful enough to stop the ball as it went around the back. But actually they found that the one magnet was sufficient, so they removed the third magnet that actually is. But some people actually will cut the hole and will put that third magnet here. And I guess you can get different ROM for the game, different EPROMs for the game, and it knows that third magnet is there. The object of the game is you're trying to complete the door. You're trying to light up all the panels on the door, and when you do that, you have one last one here with the question mark, and then when you finish all the modes on the door,
you have come to the end of your journey. Survival is everything.
And that's a 6-ball multi-ball. It's really, really cool. And it's a timed multi-ball, so I think it's 45 seconds long. And it'll just keep firing the balls out on the playfield, and you have all 6 balls in the playfield, including the Powerball, for about 45 seconds. But each one of these panels on the door is a certain mode in the game. So for instance, battle the power, this will be lit up, the power, and you then are going to shoot up here and up to the upper playfield, and now you're trying to shoot the ball into this hole and defeat the power. And using these magnetic flippers, it's a little tricky to do that, to get that ball to go up where you want it to. There is a lock here behind the piano and underneath the right ramp. That lock is where you score your extra ball, and you can also lock balls there to get one of the multi-balls, one or two of the multi-balls. And then when you're in multi-ball, if you shoot under the piano here, you'll get the jackpot. And you can get multiple jackpots in each multi-ball too. It's really cool. The important thing is when you're playing the game, if the yellow light is lit on the slot machine or on the piano, then you can drop the ball into there and you can start a mode. You've obviously got the right ramp here, the little tight right ramp, and that right ramp will lead up here to the upper playfield. And this upper playfield is activated at certain points of the game, and then these magnetic flippers will work with the flipper buttons. Super cool there. You've got the diverter here. I've had a couple problems with this diverter. Right now it seems to be working okay. For a while it wasn't really adjusted properly, and the ball would get stuck. It wouldn't go into the diverter or would fall off, but so far right now it's working, so hopefully I don't jinx myself. Let's see, and then you got the left ramp here. This left ramp goes around behind the right ramp and comes out here, and then there's a diverter that'll divert it either through the slot machine back down to the in lane here, or it'll divert it down here and it'll come down and it'll end up back in your shooter lane again. And the shooter lane has this little, it's kind of a 2-lane shooter lane. It's got this little gate, and this little gate will swing up, the ball will fall down, and then there's an auto shooter here that'll fire the ball back up, and it'll end up back on the playfield again. Again, underneath here, you got the little tiny flipper here, and underneath there's a hole there that goes down to that subway that I showed you a minute ago. And then of course with the gumball machine will spit out, and it also ends up in the subway. So it's a pretty complicated playfield. I am going to show you behind the translight, and then we're going to play us some Twilight Zone. Alright, and just like Funhouse, Twilight Zone has this same sort of setup in the back box here with the standard panel that opens, and then it's got this lower panel that folds down. You can see I've got a colored dot matrix display. So again, this machine is from 1993. And then the Funhouse there was from 1990. So in the middle, then they went to DMDs, dot matrix displays. Normally they're an orange color, but the previous owner had upgraded this one to a color DMD, which is a super cool upgrade. I do recommend that, and I do want to do that for a roadshow over there eventually. You know, I've got your main driver board here with fuses. I'm not in here a whole lot, so I'm not 100% on what are all the components. This is the soundboard. I believe this is the Fliptronics board, which controls all the flipper motions. Over here you've got the main game ROM, and this is a security chip. Todd Tuckey always calls this the oops, we ran out of transistors board, because this machine has, obviously you saw a lot going on, so they must have not had the capability on the main board, and they installed this other driver, or this other transistor board there to get some more game functions. So good. All right. Well, let's get the back glass back in the machine, the translite back in the machine, and we'll play us some Twilight Zone. It's pretty tough to film this game because it is a big play field, and unfortunately you can't see the DMD up there, but got the camera in the best position I could find.
You unlock this door with the key of imagination.
All right, so let's play some Twilight Zone here. See if we can get a good game going. Alright, so immediately I'm going to try to shoot for the power because the power is lit right now and try to get to the upper playfield. Let's get out of the pop bumpers. And that awards us a door panel as well. So we got 28 million in the door panel. Now it's giving us clock millions, so we can hit that clock target. And yeah, got 2 for 1. So you can also start another mode while you're in the middle of a mode in Twilight Zone. So it's pretty cool. So now we got the spiral mode going now too. And that is 10 million for each loop here. Now we got another mode started. Shoot the camera next to the we got another spiral. We still have the clock millions going, so I think we have 3 modes running at once right now. And I got a ball stuck here. There's a ball stuck on the magnet at the top left. I have a problem with this magnet where it's not adjusted properly, and the ball will actually fall down into a little indentation and sit there. I need to adjust that magnet. I'm going to take the ball and put it back in the shoe lane, which is normally what happens in a tournament game if a ball gets stuck. I need to adjust that magnet a little bit. Okay, here we go. Into the camera, and now it lit the outlanes, and the next camera reward is the greed target. So I am going to shoot, I'm going to try to shoot the left ramp so I can let gum, because then I can load the gumball machine. It's not very easy to do with, the left flipper there. Okay, got the camera again. So the green targets are now lit, all these green targets. Whoa. Okay. So I still need that left ramp. We'll play it straight. We're not trying to stop it on this little flipper to get that, shoot that left one. Okay, we were lucky there. So let's shoot the gumball machine. The gumball machine is this right ramp, or this right loop here. So that loads the gumball machine. The gumball machine just dispenses the Powerball. And you can see how this is much faster.
Not yours.
So if you shoot it back into the gumball machine, then it'll start the Powerball Mania, I think it's called. Random award there, we got a super slot.
Experience one of life's chaos is
Okay, so we're still shooting for the gumball machine. Oh! Try to adjust the camera here for you. Alright, here we go. Okay, we got a ball save there.
are not what they first appear. Are you ready to battle?
Okay, so lock the ball.
Hit the door.
And the Powerball just kicked out.
Don't touch the door. Powerball.
couple choices here. You can shoot the right loop for the gumball machine. That's where I'm going to go. Okay. We get the Powerball payoff, 10 million, multi-ball. And this multi-ball, we're trying to get the ball actually up onto the playfield. The way to score the jackpot here is power. It's really fast. Okay, so let's shoot for the left ramp. We have the robot multi-ball right up there. We got that
Never underestimate the power in the Twilight Zone.
Jackpot here is number 6. Now we can restart the multi-ball here to get it up into the lock. Tough bounce. Bit unlucky on that one. We still have the extra ball though. Now we're on ball 3. There we go.
Hi, I'm Tina. Here's your extra ball.
Beyond this door is the region of sight.
Okay, so a couple options here. Shoot it up into the gumball. Now we can shoot into the slot machine and we'll get a random award, but it's kind of a risky shot because a lot of times it'll brick right off the target or that that post there and come right down the toilet. So I tend to try to play it safe and try to shoot for the piano. Okay, that's 20 million camera award there, and the next one is going to be the camera. Let's shoot for the slot machines. Let's take a risk. Ooh. Yeah. Okay, into the piano again. So we got the fast lap.
It's time to tune into the Twilight Zone.
This is a cool one. We gotta get it into the lock.
Hey, it's only pinball.
Get it up in the box. We get a 12 million point jackpot each time we do it. Not sure if you picked up on the music that's playing there. It's actually the music from Funhouse. Pat Lawler, he designed this game, and Whirlwind, and Funhouse, and Earthshaker, and Banzai Run. And all of those games, if you get that fast lock mode, the music that's played and the sounds that are played are actually from all those games. And that one there in particular was from Funhouse. So now we got 2 balls locked. We can get the 3rd ball up into that lock and we'll start with another multi-ball. Or we can shoot it into the gumball machine. Let's try it again into the lock. There we go.
You've just crossed over into the
fail there. Okay, we can restart multi-ball by shooting the lock. 7 seconds left. Oh, and the ball got stuck up on the diverter again. I need to put myself some type of blockage up here. The ball gets stuck right here next to the robot. I'm going to put it back in the shooting room again. Unfortunately, I lost out on that mode, on that lock there. How it goes. I'm not going to cheat and take that out. So it must know that the ball's stuck because it, okay, here we go. Yeah, a couple problems to work out. Okay, so we can shoot the right ramp for the power for the upper playfield. I think I'm going to shoot for the left ramp. Or not. I'm going to shoot right ramp this time. My friend. Okay, we got dead end board there for getting up into the U-turn. Okay, gumball machine. During me. Oh, well, we need to get the extra blast going. Shoot again. Wait a minute. We get the Town Square Madness.
Town Square.
Square Madness is a shoot up in the pop bumpers here, but I think it's a really dangerous shot, so I don't normally go for it. $25 million now. And let's shoot for the left ramp. Now we can load the gumball machine again. Now we get the Powerball.
Powerball.
Well, 430 million on that game. Not too awful bad. We had about half the panels completed. Pretty tough. And that's Twilight Zone. Yeah, man, I hope you enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun for me to make this video. This is a fantastic machine. It's a crown jewel of my collection. I feel really lucky to have one, and yeah, if you ever find one on location, give it a shot, give it a play. It's pretty complicated. You know, the rules are fairly deep, not too deep. I mean, you can see it's pretty easy to figure out, but there is a lot to do on the play field, and it's not a game that you get tired of very quickly. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and take a look for the next video. It should be coming here soon. Thanks a lot. See ya.